Dayne, how do you look kind of at the big picture of this? Obviously, 8 unbeaten, but at the same time, 2 scoreless draws. It kind of maybe you don't feel like the momentum is fully there. How do you kind of look at it collectively overall in the dressing room?
I think the momentum for us definitely still feels there.
Okay.
I think obviously it's disappointing not to get the 3 points, but to only lose our first game of the season, which is a tough away place in LA, and then to go unbeaten since then. I think that's something that a lot of people would have taken, and of course maybe we could have had a couple more wins in there, but to be able to kind of keep that streak, I think puts a lot of pressure on other teams when they're playing us, knowing that we're flying high. And I think for us, of course, you want those 3 points, but anytime that you're getting something out of the game is a positive.
What do you need to do to start turning these draws into wins?
I think we created some chances. I think we would probably be a little more clinical in some areas and really hone in on our set pieces again. I think we look at what gave us success earlier in the season with some of those moments. So if we really kind of focus and take charge in those moments, I think that we can be a little more ruthless against some of these teams with them dropping off against us. And it's a little bit usual for the season now too. Teams are trying to figure out everyone's identity. So of course the scouting is a lot more higher versus when you have 1 or 2 games to base it off of. But I think we feel confident that we know we have a lot of strong attacking players that can change the game in a blink of an eye.
Was this one of the more physical games, or was that just maybe a reflection on maybe how it was officiated?
Yeah, the referee definitely didn't do any favors. I think for himself or for other teams, there was definitely a lack of consistency, and I think there was a lot of missed calls both ways. Maybe some that he did call that weren't fouls, and then ones that weren't fouls even against us in some dangerous areas that, we're fortunate enough for that not to be called. But I think there was definitely a lack of consistency, which is tough for the players then to know what's a foul and what's not and how physical you can be. And of course, when you're on the field, you're gonna push the limits, and it's on the referee to kind of take control and set the tone. But I think there was a lack of consistency today from him.
You mentioned the offensive side of the ball. How do you feel tonight on defense, especially with your performance? A big save to keep that match 0-0.
Yeah, another clean sheet. I think is definitely positive. I think we've been doing very good at the back, and credit to the attackers too. There was a lot of transition moments today where guys had to make full field sprints, and they made it every single time. And we were able to get numbers back to not even allow a shot in some of those moments. So a lot of credit to those in those moments as well.
How do you deal with it when another team sets out to sort of draw you into a shoving match rather than a soccer game?
For me, I like to be physical, so I thrive in those moments, and unfortunately some of those moments were a little bit too far away from me to get involved, but a physical match is something that I definitely don't shy away from, and I think sometimes those moments can be momentum swings as well, and I don't think anyone on our team is willing to back down, and we see even when we get pushed, we have 3 or 4 guys that are willing to kind of stand for each other and back each other up as well.
You look at that save that you made on the Costa as just kind of a reaction at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a great run from him. I think that when he makes that first pass, he's always kind of taking the blind side, and it's a great ball back into him. But I think he's definitely a lot more dangerous with the ball at his feet than at his head, even though he still does have a good ability. But I think for me, it was just not shifting too much so that I can still kind of cover that backside of the goal as well.
All good for Dayne? All right, we'll shift over to Mike. Good. All right, when you guys ready? Michael
Boxy, what do you look at as the perspective here? Obviously 8 games unbeaten, but 2 straight scoreless draws. How do you look at kind of the big picture of where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, I think looking back to previous seasons where we've kind of stumbled is those kind of results where at home we should be looking at getting more than 1 point. So yeah, I think we're disappointed obviously when we're obviously done so well the previous few games, particularly on the road, and then to come home to feed off the crowd's energy and only go home with 1 point is pretty disappointing, I think.
Did you feel like Dallas sort of set out to create a shoving match and try to avoid playing soccer?
I'm not too sure. I think they were very physical, and surprisingly the referee let a lot go. I think they allowed the game to be disruptive and allowed challenges that other referees I think probably don't let go or don't go with just a free kick. So, but I mean we have to match that, and we have to find ways to to rise above that, and especially at home to just find a way to score a goal.
How did you guys look at the fact that Musa didn't play? Obviously, he got hurt last weekend, but Costa didn't come on until late. How did you kind of look at the fact that they were without their two DPs for at least an hour of tonight's game?
I mean, the guys who played, I thought they did a good job. They worked hard and they made things difficult for us. I think maybe it gives them more energy. I think, yeah, when they've got 11 guys who were pretty relentless and physical in a game that they were allowed to, is probably worked in their favour.
What do you guys need to sort of sharpen to make the long throw-ins into a weapon again?
I mean, it's just a little bit of luck. It's yeah, just getting the right bounce or two, and I mean, yeah, you see the goals that have come from those long throws. It's not something that you really work on. It's just making the defender have a glancing header kind of miss and fall to us, and just being on the move and in the right place at the right time. And yeah, I'm not too sure.
I know you're on the other side of the pitch, but what have you seen and what other teams' defenses are doing to take away Kelvin and Danny?
I think once they match the physicality, I think they're aware of the threat in behind. So once they kind of drop early and kind of know that when we go that route, I think we've just got to find ways to get the midfielders and our wider players to support them underneath, so they have so that we can get them in matchups 1v1. I think at the moment we're kind of getting them in situations where other defenders they have too much cover with them. So you're asking Tanny and Calvin to beat two or three guys to give us a chance. So yeah, I think we need to continue evolving and find other ways to get better use out of them.
Do you feel there was any missed opportunities tonight to get a goal?
Not really. I think Dallas and their defensive third were pretty desperate to jump on anything. They had a lot of bodies around everyone. Yeah, maybe on another day we can find the angle, or I'm not too sure. You have to kind of go back and I'm a long way away from a lot of their chances. I can't. Yeah, I'm not going to stand from that far back and tell better players what they could or should have done.
Thank you.
All right, all good. Have a good night.